I thought I might swing over to a little hit at the sports exhaust on this 350 Classic. See how that goes on it. First off, I might do a sound check on the bike so you know how it stands. Earlier on today I took the bike out for a 6k loop ride. Didn't bother using the video clip on it because naturally my external mic isn't working, and I did find running along the sort of the any 80k zone, the bike was sort of, I wouldn't say it was struggling, but I wouldn't say it was a powerhouse sitting on 80k's or 50 mile an hour. And you could see the bike, you know, compared to a Classic 500, you know, at 80k's, well, it was running at at least probably 4/5 power, something like that. There wasn't any huge amount of power in this bike at 80k's an hour, and I think by opening up the exhaust into a open sport style muffler, it'd be a great improvement on this little bike. So you know, the idea is to switch it into something to give it a little bit more oomph. And what I'll do now, I'll start her up for you and you can have a listen to it in standard form. So we'll get onto it, switch her on. One thing about this, you don't hear anything about fuel injection kick over, so it's just a simple matter of switch it. Hit her over and she starts off, and as you can tell it's a pretty quiet bike. Idles away nicely. Just let the oil get into it a little while and I just give it a little bit of a rev and you can sort of hear how she sounds. But it appears to be a fairly quiet little motor. Just give her a little bit of a round, hit with the accelerator. But there's not much sound there. Bit of vibe and above that. But either way, that's it in standard form. So we'll get into it. I may not have to, but I'll just get rid of these two heat shields out of the way, and they're a little bit different to what's on the 500, or especially the front one, but I'll move them out of the way and just see what's under them. So it really wasn't that hard to get the exhaust off. The front heat shield really had to remove, the one that was on the main part of the muffler didn't have to be removed at all, so it was just a quick easy job. Less than 5 minutes and it was off, and now it's about getting the sports muffler on. So if we look back over the past few years, and say over the last 5 to 7 years, I've had a bit of experience with these Enfields, but mainly only on the 500s, but these are the first, or these are the few exhausts I've been using. Suppose they all perform all right, but if I go for the pick of them, I would swing this way. That's my favourite. So that's a 19-inch shorty. That one there performs all right, number one. Like I said, number two is the shorty. This one here, it's all right, but it's not very loud. This particular one, haven't had that much luck with it at all. But I think in this particular test with the bike, I'll go for the 19-inch shorty. I've run it with like the EJK, electronic jet kit, power commander, all those sort of bikes, or all those sort of units on the 19-inch shorty, and got good results on all of them. So with this little 350, I think I'll try that particular exhaust system on this bike and just see how it goes, see how it sounds. And I've even noticed on the fuel injected bikes, just by opening the outlet there, the bike performs either quicker, faster, better on pickup. Just depends on how much you open that outlet. But anyway, we might see how it fits and see how it sounds. Okay, here's what I'm planning on doing. Naturally I'll attach the bracket up here, And off the back mudguard sway bracket here, I'm going to attach the muffler bracket right at the back here, and I'm going to attach it to the mainstay from the mudguard bracket. So usually I either attach it up here onto this one here and swing it back into where it originally come off the original muffler, or bring it into the foot peg bracket. But this is the first time I've tried it off this one. Now while we're at it, sometimes with these what you'd call eBay mufflers, or you know, when you buy them off the sell them on eBay, they do come with sort of flimsy style brackets. Now sometimes I also, with these flimsier style brackets, run a double bracket. So for example, if I use one bracket here up onto either the foot peg or to that one there, I might come to the front part and then one run over here and run one to the other support bracket there to double the bracket to give it a better support. But we'll just see how this one goes anyway, and this is only a trial because I've never run one from that section there in the first place. So it's just something that I could come back, run another bracket up into this peg hole here. Well, it's almost assembled fully. Heat shield's back on, the exhaust is sitting there. Just got to put the foot peg back on. And I think it's just about completed and ready to kick over. So apart from that, really don't know about that heat shield idea, whether it looks any good or not, but I usually don't ride them with heat shield on anyway, but sort of undecided about that idea or not, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, I'll put the rear foot peg back on and then we'll kick her over. Okay guys, everything's back together now. Still don't like the look of that heat shield sitting there, but I may take you back off for another look. Put the original muffler bolt back in the slot there. Everything's back on. Muffler seems or appears tight. All looks good. Let's kick her over for the first time, see how it sounds. Ignition on. Let's press the starter. So there we are on idle. You can tell straight away, a lot deeper sound. More like a thump now. More like a belt. Maybe not quite as deep a sound as what comes out of the 500, hard to say, but still not a bad note compared to what it had before. And this 19-inch shorty hasn't been modified either. I haven't cut the tip or anything. It's factory standard 19-inch, but still not bad. I might take the heat shield off and just see how it looks with that off, and just see if it looks any worse or any better. Okay, I've removed the heat shield there, a lot of carbon and rubbish on it, so I might have to just clean that up first, and we'll just see how it looks with a bit of a clean up. May look a little bit cleaner than what it did earlier on. Probably the easiest way out of this would be to buy a complete new header pipe, a nice clean one right from the cylinder head straight out all the way through, but at this stage I'm not going to go out of my way to waste that sort of money on this particular bike, but once again we'll give her another kick over. Yeah, it's strange not hearing that fuel pump kick, but let's kick her. But overall, not a bad sound. But I think I'll just leave it like that at the moment. We're in school zone at the moment, so I'm not going to go out on this and give it a bit of a burst, but after 4 o'clock, before I load this video later on today, I might take it out, give her a lap around the block and just see how it really does perform with this shorty on. But like I said, later on I will have to get down and most likely run another bracket here and see just to be safe, but it'll be good enough to take it out, give her a bit of a lap around the block and just see how it performs. And I think already it sounds like it'll be a lot better than what it was prior to this mod. And all this mod cost me was, well, it cost me nothing because I had the stuff in stock and I've got a lot of accessories in stock for this bike. So if you're interested in tuning in and seeing what I do to this bike, by all means subscribe. But I think that muffler cost me 90 bucks, something like that, when I bought it a while back. And that other little muffler I had, number 1, when I was showing you what I had in the accessory line, it came off another bike I bought virtually near new several months back, and it performed pretty well too. It was a fairly loud muffler, that one, louder than this one, but I don't know, it also come with a sports muffler, a sports air cleaner. I'll show you that air cleaner now. Okay, that particular bike, I bought it with just a few kilometres on the clock. It was fitted with this Ramflow air cleaner, and naturally when it was fitted, the airbox was removed and it sat in that particular spot like so. And I ended up pulling this box off it. I don't know, I may try this idea again, or I may not, I don't know. It's something that I suppose it could be adapted, but that was on the EFO model, but it could be, it's hard to say. Well guys, I'm back from the test run on the little 350 with the sports muffler I've just fitted to it, and I'd say, well, there's definitely an improvement. When I was running in standard form, I was struggling to push it along at 80 kilometres an hour, 50 mile an hour along that expressway, or not the expressway, but in the 80 zone. Just a while ago I had it out there on one of the runs. It'll now run pretty easily at 80 kilometres an hour, and I did push it up at one stage to 100 kilometres an hour, and it handled that reasonably well. I wouldn't say easy, but I did push it up to 100 k's, and you could tell just with that sports muffler I just fitted to it, it is a quicker little bike than what it was prior to it, where I thought it was pretty slow. But the big question is now, in this standard form, now we're only talking this bike, no different jetting in the carburetors, just take the original muffler off it, put the sports muffler on it, take it out, see how it goes. I didn't experience any coughing or spluttering or anything from it like that, but I did experience an increase in power on the bike itself, and there was no indication that the bike wasn't running rough or anything like that, and power delivery was good all the way through, and there was an increase in power, so I got no reason to believe that there was anything wrong with the bike the way it was running. So the bike did run well, and I had more power, and it was far better than what it was prior to it. But the big question is this: I've owned a lot of C5s, and I've rode them in all different states of tune, and if you said to me, in the state now just with the sports exhaust on it, how would it compare to a C5? It would still be behind a normal C5 running a standard exhaust. If I was on a normal fuel injected C5 with the same muffler on it, which I've done numerous times, a C5 would leave it for dead, because on one particular hill when I came up, I had to drop back to 4th gear to get up it, and I think I got up that hill at 70 kilometres an hour. I was in 80 zone, so I got up at around about 70 kilometres an hour, had to drop back to fourth. If I would have been in the C5, I would have run over that hill with the same system, 80 kilometres an hour in top gear. So the C5 would have pulled that hill easy in fifth gear and done it easy, where this one was struggling to get over the hill and pushing itself along in fourth gear and running at 70. So I could notice it straight away, like there's no way a 350 would run anywhere near a C5. It may be different if you had different jets in the carburetor or something where you could push it along a bit more, but you know, the old story where nothing beats CCs, well, you know, my opinion would be at this stage that maybe different if the carburetor was jetted different to give it a bit more oomph that way, but I just couldn't see a 350 belting over a 500. But that's just my opinion at this stage, and if you said which one I'd rather jump on and ride, I think I can tell straight off that 350 would probably be a great little commuter around town and stuff like that, but if I was pointing one of these out along the road and picking which one I was going to jump on, it'd be a 500 for sure. But everyone, you know, like around town running, well, these are a very popular little bike, and I think as far as that goes, you know, it all depends on what you like, what your budget is, and things like that. But just for what this test is about, whether that $100 exhaust helps you or not, it helps you a lot, because prior to that, when I did that lap around the 6 kilometre loop, this bike was what you'd class as fairly down on power and fairly gutless, and that little exhaust really give it that little bit of get up and go. So if you ask what a $100 Sportsy muffler does to a 350 Enfield, it does quite a lot. So I think from that point of view, it makes them run along at 80 kilometres an hour fairly effortlessly on good ground. And I think if you had that exhaust with a you know, a good setup on your carby and stuff like that. But later on, when I get my new camera and the external mic, we'll take her out along the road and give her a bit of a play around. Then you'll get a lot better idea how it goes in that respect. But at this stage, that's the end of the sports muffler and test, and we'll come back to it later on. And once again, thanks for tuning in and taking a look.